You're listening to Power Talk, Berkeley Electric Cooperative's official broadcast about the cooperative, our communities, and ways to use energy wisely. And now, let's join our hosts for today's episode. Good morning and welcome to Power Talk. I'm Micah Ponce, the Communications and Media Specialist here at Berkeley Electric Cooperative, joined as always by Miss Libby Roig, the Director of Marketing and Communications.
Good morning, Micah.
Morning. We have another full house here on Power Talk. We always like the studio to be full and all the chairs to be occupied. Welcome, ladies.
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, we have some special guests. One of them who's becoming a regular. You're going to be rivaling Mr. Tommy Harvey before too long for appearances.
Yeah, or Eddie Plowden.
Or Eddie Plowden for appearances on Power Talk. That's
That's a good thing or not.
Miss Amy Langdon, our Vice President of Information Technology. Welcome, back again. And then we have a new face in the studio, first time ever, Miss Dawn Pasco, the Manager of Application Support.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's radio. It works better if you talk. just a beginner's tip there.
Yeah.
But another tip, Dawn, for folks who we just have on the show, I know we're off to a great start, giving you a rough time. So we're going to ease the pain by giving you with your own official Power Talk mug.
Look at there.
It's available only to folks who have suffered through an episode of Power Talk with us.
Suffered?
Well, we'll
You'll
let
understand later.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other part of the suffering comes when new people are on the show. We ask them to give a little bit of background so our audience can learn about you, professional, personal history, how you ended up locked in a room with us today.
Oh, you ready for this therapy session?
When I was a small child.
Yeah. So I started in 2008 inside member services, cashier, in fact. And then I moved on to IT in 2017, and I've been working in or for application support and billing since. So,
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how that has played out. We worked together when Dawn first started in member services, and now we're back together in IT with my move. So,
yeah,
kind of full circle there.
Are you also a local girl, or are you from the area, from out of the area? Where are you from?
So I grew up in Park Circle down in North Charleston.
Okay, not too far away.
Yeah. I go back there often, and you see the recent development.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it just brings back childhood memories.
Yeah.
Those are the days where you could, get on your bike and you didn't have a cell phone or a pager. And
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
you showed up when the street lights came on,
Yeah.
right? So your mom and dad didn't know where you were.
Yeah, we didn't do that in Alvin. Nowhere to ride bikes.
Yeah.
No.
Across the fields.
Yeah.
So, Dawn, billing translates easily, I think, to most of our listeners. But what do you do as far as application support? What does that consist of for the co-op?
So our core function is to be the liaison between the end users, our employees, and the software companies. So any software that we support, if we troubleshoot, we bring in new technology, we plan projects. So it's really been a full circle for me, because having that foundation in member services, you realize what exactly we do for our members and how it impacts and the decisions that we make every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dawn and her group is kind of the customer service group of IT.
Okay.
They're working with our employees and making sure that everything's working well for them, but also our members as well. When we have issues with Smart Hub or anything like that, they're the ones reaching out to NISC to resolve those.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of software and the different applications we use, it seems like you can't use a computer these days without some mention of AI popping up. It's on the different social media platforms, Microsoft Word,
Google search. Everywhere.
Yeah. So either someone's using AI or there's an AI tool wanting to help you do something. So, Amy, what is AI that we hear so much about?
So AI stands for artificial intelligence. In the most succinct way possible to explain that, basically you train computers to think and respond like humans do. So you get some advanced reasoning and advanced logic when you do that, but you get really powerful tools that you can use to kind of help simplify your work day or what you're doing, and take some of those manual tasks and hand them over to something that can be a little more efficient than an actual human doing. So it's been around for a while. The first mention of AI that we can find is 1956, so it's not crazy new, but really didn't go mainstream until the 2020s, around 2022 when ChatGPT rolled out. So
yeah. I worked for a university before I came to the co-op in 2020, and AI was all everybody was talking about my last 18 months. So late 2018 into 2019. So a lot of what they were saying has come true.
Yeah. There was so much fear, I think, when AI first, I don't want to keep saying went mainstream, but when people actually started talking about it in the news and in the media, and I think it's good to have a healthy respect for what it can and can't do, but I think everyone for the most part has kind of embraced how powerful it can be and what you can do with it.
Yeah, I think definitely understanding it helps with that, lessening the fear and understanding what it's good at, what it's not good at. And that's the topic of today's show. Is we're going to talk about how the co-op is using artificial intelligence in ways you may expect or not expect. And it is really great to make more efficient some manual tasks like computing or analysis. A lot of the stuff that we do around here, it can just speed up the process. You're not having to do it as a human, the long way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the main thing where we are with what we're calling AI. Obviously, it's not a thinking on its own or anything else like that, like a true artificial intelligence would be. It's thinking faster than us. It's compiling information faster than us. So I mean, it can go through. And like Amy said, it gets trained on like the large language models. They expose it to all kinds of information, and it can just go through and synthesize all of that information a lot faster than we can.
Yeah. And it frees us up to do something else.
But currently, like anything that's computer related, there's an old term as garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
It's only as good as the information that it's fed. So having the information available, quality information available is key to that, because I mean, everybody knows, ChatGPT, that's sort of like we said, sort of the industry standard that everybody has been introduced to artificial intelligence, and that was sort of the real prima donna that sort of stole the show when it first came out. We're used to using that. Dawn, what are some of the other widely used AI platforms that people may not be aware of besides ChatGPT?
Yeah, so there's a couple. For Google Cloud, there's definitely Google AI Studio and Vertex AI. From an AI chat bot perspective, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, my absolute favorite.
Yep.
But there's some other platforms like Grammarly. Co-op just pushed out Grammarly. IBM Watson, you see that on CBS News. They just did an interview with them, and then Copilot. But I think it's more importantly, it really depends on the user's needs. Their level of desired control. Micah talks about the trash in, trash out.
Yeah,
that documentation that you feed it is imperative. Because it then learns what you feed it.
Personally, I like Grok just because I don't like the name.
Grok.
I like Grok.
I play around with that a little bit when I'm on X or Twitter. I don't know.
Whatever it is. I mean, and they make tweaks to all these things, but it's good to remember that these are tools, but and they're not supposed to think for you. They're supposed to help you. I think that's going to be the biggest thing that folks need to realize is that, using these as tools should be to aid you, not replace, your ability to reason or something like that. I mean, I know that kids these days growing up online, it's very easy to have, just ask a question. Boom. You got the world of information at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And so being able to think for yourself and reason for yourself and find out, that critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows how to remember phone numbers anymore, though? I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, our phones these days. I mean, back. I'm going to date myself. Back in the old days, when you had to know how to untangle your cord on your phone. I mean, you had to memorize people's phone numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, beyond my phone number at home, there's not too many I know off the top of my head anymore, and that's simply because they're stored in our phones, and we don't have to think about it. We just call this person, call that person.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even need speed dial anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the thing where you used to program numbers, kids, into your phone, and you'd only have to hit one number, and it would dial for you. So yeah, I mean, it's a world that it's going to be transformative. It's going to change the way that we do things. So I mean, I think it's how you use them ethically, how you use them responsibly. Like any new technology, is going to be the key.
I was telling my 10-year-old about calling time and temperature.
Oh, yeah. Or to
time
get
is.
movie times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Movie
my
times.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's all in our little computer that we carry around with us everywhere. So, Amy, what does Berkeley Electric care about AI or artificial intelligence?
We really try to, I don't want to say stay on the bleeding edge of technology, but we would much rather be driving our own path with how we do things than sitting back and waiting to see how everyone else is using it. So, I think as we look at AI internally and how we might want to use things, I don't want to say you have to put guardrails up, but you do have to set some parameters and make sure that it's being used the way that we as an organization want to use it. And so, we're looking at things like providing more efficient services for our members through AI. But there are a couple of concerns with that as well. We don't want our members to feel like we're pushing them off on an AI chatbot or anything like that. So we're in the process of developing an internal policy for AI use, and those concerns are what's driving it. Making sure that everything is confidential, that we're not putting confidential information in there, making sure that we're following laws, copyright, all the things, making sure that creative licenses aren't trampled on with the use of AI. Making sure that we're having a healthy respect for what AI can and can't do. So making sure that there's a human component involved in that. Somebody's checking behind it, reviewing the work, and it's not taking something from AI and that's the end product. Really, it's just a tool to get you started or to help you develop your thoughts along the way. So, and then, we talk about members, and we want to be fully transparent with our members. So if we ever do get to the point where we're using AI to converse with members or provide service to members, we want to be fully transparent. And so that's being built in where, we'll have to disclose that's being used when a member's talking with it. So they don't assume that they're talking to a real person. They know.
Right.
Well, you mentioned that, using it responsibly and checking behind it, because it's already become a thing. Because, like we said, this is a program. It's a program that runs much faster, more efficiently than we can. But they've already coined a new term for saying that AI can hallucinate. So I mean, sometimes it gets like the program, it runs into something that it's not run into before, so it doesn't have the parameters to deal with it.
Interesting.
Or maybe it's that garbage in, garbage out, and it's got some bad information, and all of a sudden it starts going off wildly different paths than what it's supposed to.
Or there's conflicting information, and it doesn't know what to do with it.
Right.
So it gives you some combination of of the two. So
right.
yeah.
So yeah, we've already run into the
That's interesting.
go home AI, you're drunk.
Well, humans misremember things. You know, memory is a very faulty service that we have in our heads, and so it's interesting that the computers have the same problem.
And you know, as we're looking at what tools we use internally and trying to develop some of our own tools internally, you know, we're working on training our AI models, and we see it every day as we're doing that.
That's
you know, you'll throw our policies and procedures in there or our directory and start asking questions, and it'll pull something, and you're like, where did that come from? No, the answer should be this.
Bad AI. Well, and I can see how AI would be a powerful tool for the co-op to use. You know, for our listeners who aren't aware, you know, the name's Berkeley Electric, but we serve portions of the Tri-County. So we're Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester counties, portions of anyway. You know, and we always strive to meet our members where we are because we serve out to the islands, you know, Kiowa and Seabrook. That's very different than some of our more rural areas.
In Alvin.
Like Alvin, but a lot of municipalities, you know, Goose Creek is probably our most meter-dense area. But, you know, so all of our members have different needs or different ages, different stages in their life, and but even internally, we have such a diverse employee base that, you know, some employees will probably use AI a lot as we get, you know, the guardrails ironed out and the platforms trained. But some will probably never even know we have it. You know,
or won't want to use it.
Sure.
And that's fine. You know, the biggest thing for us is, you know, there are so many great tools out there. We want to make those available to employees to use. But if they don't want to use it, that's fine too. You know, it's just another tool in the tool belt.
You know, like Libby mentioned, I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's home's different. You know, you can live right next door to somebody, and the way that you use power can be completely different from the way that they use power. Even though your homes might have been built by the same builder at the same time, there can still be differences. And so one of the new AI tools that we're rolling out this year is called Bidgely, and it's an artificial intelligence tool that helps members understand how their home uses energy. So Dawn, why don't you tell us a little bit about Bidgely and give us an idea how it actually works?
Yeah, so Bidgely uses AI to help utilities and our members understand their energy better. It's almost like we all have like unique fingerprints. So Bidgely knows the unique fingerprints of the appliances in our home. Washing machines, dryers, hot water heaters, your air conditioning unit. It allows this tool to not use any special sensors.
So it's taking our existing data that we're already getting from meters. So, you know, we read meters every 15 minutes. It's taking that data and looking at those usage patterns, and then it's pulling out what appliances it thinks it is. It's not 100% accurate. It's taking a very educated guess. And then it's breaking it down for the member, saying, oh, you spent $140 on cooling this month. You spent $12 on lighting. And, you know, it's doing its best to take the usage information we have. Like Dawn said, we're not having to implement any new equipment or anything like that. But breaking it down instead of just getting one total, you know, oh, you owe $334 this month. Instead, it's breaking it down and showing, oh, you used this on this and this much on this, and trying to help members understand where their money's going every month.
Which is the first step in controlling your usage and your bill. So Bidgely understands that the way HVAC system pulls energy and cycles through is very different than, say, a water heater or that power strip that is running your TV. So, and it, because of those various usage patterns, can make an educated guess on how your bill is being divvied up. And and if you see if you're spending dramatically more in heating and cooling, maybe you need to adjust your thermostat a little bit up or down depending on the season to help control that usage.
We did a lunch and learn recently for our employees, and another member service rep brought it up, and she related it to Zillow.
Oh, yeah.
So in Zillow, you have your home, and it maybe have like a general square footage or a general 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but maybe your square footage is more, or maybe you have an extra bedroom that Zillow doesn't list. You get onto that website and you customize your home profile.
Yeah.
And Zillow then spits out what they call a Zestimate. So it visually works the same way. It's a mystery box that, just like Amy said, we give you a bill each month that contains your total amount of kilowatts and your total bill. Mm-hmm. But visually opens that box and it shines a flashlight in there and it says, your refrigerator is the big spender this week. As soon as we rolled it out, we had a member call in to the contact center, and the contact center rep logged into her smart hub, and it said that her heating and cooling was running at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Never before have we been able to do this.
Yeah.
It's just been, we'll send an energy specialist out to you to complete an audit.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about the savings of resources.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
So a quick phone call to the office helped this member understand that the heat was fighting the air, as Josh Lauder likes to say.
Yeah.
And they were running at the same time, which, that's a mechanical problem with your unit that you can address and can save you a ton of money. But because they were able to identify that early, they didn't have to wait till the end of the month.
Correct.
And get a huge bill.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
That was awesome.
So you can also help train Bidgely. You can go into your Smart Hub account, and I did this the other day. And speaking of Zillow's a big help if you don't know your home's square footage and when it was built and that sort of thing. But you can go in and tell it if you've got a pool, if you have more than one refrigerator, things that will help kind of crack the code of how your home's using energy. And, you could put in, when your HVAC was purchased and installed and help it have better information to make those educated guesses on where your energy is breaking down.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we were saying, anything with AI, the more information you give it, the more accurate it's going to be, the more it can help you out. You know, it's got to have that information to be a good tool. Yeah. Otherwise, like I said, it's just giving you those general estimates. I think it's really important to mention, though, that, when it comes to all this data, that, Berkeley Electric, in terms of security concerns, yes, our meters are returning information, every 15 minutes, but the sheer amount of data that's coming in, we're not watching every kilowatt that comes across.
There's no way
through the system. I mean, it's just, there's so many readings, so many meters, there's so much information that we're not watching when you're watching TV. We're not knowing when you're cooking dinner or anything along those lines. This information is there for when there's a problem.
Yeah.
So
like the heat and the air running at the same time.
So, I mean, if we've got the programs and they'll spit it out if we see unusually high usage, or if the member calls in and says, hey, I've got a problem with my bill, that's the time when this information and these AI tools become useful to us, because that's when we go in and we look through, it can go through all the data for us at that time. Other than that, it's there available for the members to use whenever they want to. So, I mean, if you want to be logging on every 15 minutes and seeing what your usage is, you can
knock yourself out.
Knock yourself out. But we're not going to be doing it. Not until you tell us there's a problem or we notice that there's a big issue going on with your bill.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's really important to point out, because, we're using AI for a bunch of different stuff. What are some of the other ways? I think we've touched on some of them, but just sort of a quick recap. What are some of the ways that Berkeley Electric is making the most out of artificial intelligence?
So, I can't really speak much for other departments, but internally in IT, we use it a lot on the cybersecurity side. We're using it to monitor logs and to verify IP addresses as folks are logging in, and We're looking at geolocations. So, when folks travel and we see, somebody's in Spain and they're logging in or whatever, as long as it's expected, then we just move on. But, it draws attention to things that may be a concern. We get notifications if people's permissions are changed. They're changed to an admin or something like that. So instead of having employees having to constantly watch logs, it's a great tool to have in there that's just scanning in the background, looking for anomalies, looking for things that we may need to be concerned about.
Yeah.
So that's been really helpful on the IT side. Also, just checking server health and making sure backups are happening every night and those kind of things. So really it's there monitoring in the background and flagging things that we may need to look at. So.
And who knows what's next, as AI develops. I'm sure more and more tools will come in years to come.
Right. I mean, and with the tools that we're using internally, as we adapt them, and as they make sense, we'll be making those available to members as well. I think like we use MS Copilot internally, and that's a potential thing that we might be able to roll out to the members at some point as well. How would that work, or what would that sort of look like potentially?
So I think our Copilot will probably stay internal, but NISC, who is our main software provider for all of our billing, our OMS, outage management, our suite of software that we operate, they are developing an AI tool that right now we actually just got access to last week. So we're in the process of training it internally as an internal resource, but their plans are to develop that over the next few years to eventually be embedded in Smart Hub. So, a member can chat and say, hey, why did my bill go up this month? Or how do I change my address? Or, how do I update my phone number? Or I just want to make a payment. And it can walk them through that process. So really excited about the future there and what possibilities are there. But, they're looking at integrating that into all parts of NISC, not just internally, but externally. So, talking about outage resolution and diving in and using AI to help resolve outages faster and, in our mapping system and helping resolve mapping issues and all kinds of things. So I'm really excited about the future and kind of what they have planned with that.
And Amy, you recently went with the leadership team for the co-op to visit a co-op in Arkansas, and they were using AI. In what way?
Yeah, so we went to Berkeley Electric, which is kind of in the top northwest corner of Arkansas. They actually serve into parts of Missouri, but it's a very mountainous region, and so their right-of-way program has to be very robust, very intensive, and very intentional with right-of-way. So they have an AI tool that they use to predict tree growth in their right-of-way lanes. So they put in the species of trees that they have in their areas. They put in their trimming cycles, and it helps them identify hot spots that need to be trimmed sooner than other areas based on the tree species and their rate of growth and the rain that has come in. And so it takes the weather and all of that into account, and it helps them pinpoint where they need to trim and when they need to trim. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Living down here in the low country, it'd be like, rain.
Yeah.
Go trim.
Just grew 10 inches.
Yeah.
Got vines crawling up everything, limbs everywhere.
Yeah. Well, we've got just another couple minutes left, but Micah, don't want to leave you out of this AI discussion.
Feel free. No.
Yeah, you've dabbled in AI, probably the most of the communications team. What are some applications you've used?
Well, as the communications guy here at the co-op, I do a lot of the sort of the graphics and the outward-facing communications, podcasts, and all that kind of good stuff. So it's come into play, obviously, heavily when it comes to like photo editing. it used to be back in the day, I'd have to, clone something out of a photo, and it would take a few minutes and blah, 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 blah. Now I can just circle it, hit the word, hit enter, and it magically disappears.
Yeah.
Or I can, make a picture a little bit bigger and things of that nature. So, I mean, it's been helpful for that. You can use
take
it.
away wrinkles?
Yeah. Potentially.
Airbrush.
Potentially. One of the things I've been using it for, particularly, is I use sort of a combination of tools, especially when it comes to here, like when we're doing our podcast. I'll use one AI tool that's in a video editing software, and it'll transcribe the entire 30-minute podcast for me. So it'll every word that we say, every witty little thing that comes out of my mouth is recorded for posterity and translated onto the printed page. And then I can take that summary and I can put it in another AI summarizer, and I'll just say, like, all right, give me the main points and some quotes that came out of this 30-minute conversation.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to take that and turn it into an article. So something that would take me much, much longer if I had to re-listen to an entire 30-minute podcast
hours and hours and hours.
try to map out what we talked
Yeah.
about and pull out quotes. I mean, that all can be done within like a 5 to 10 minute period, where it would usually take me well over probably a day just to get all that information before I can even start writing an article.
Yeah.
And of course, it can give me suggestions. I can say, hey, write an article based on this. Typically you use that as a framework. Like I said, it's a tool. You have to go, anything that comes out of AI, we want to use it responsibly. You need to go have somebody going behind and checking it and making sure that things are correct, because it might not understand something that we said about rates, or it might not understand something that's in our bylaws correctly, and it misstates it, and then we put it in print, and then we've got an issue. So I mean, it's a great tool, like Amy said, for efficiencies, but we've got to make sure that we use it responsibly.
Yeah, and humans are reviewing it.
Yep. Well, folks, we'll ask AI to condense this down for you for a quick re-listen if you want to. But thank you for tuning in to Power Talk. This has been the official broadcast of your electric cooperative, and you can catch up on past episodes on streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple, and iHeartRadio, and get a behind-the-scenes look, as always, on Berkeley Electric's YouTube channel. So until next time, this is Power Talk, signing off.